It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. I know what you're thinking. It's time for another podcast episode. Let me tell you, I have had the most amazing training class this last week, and I have someone special with me. This is a rare thing. I don't think, honestly, in 650 plus episodes, I don't think I've ever had a student on as one of my guests right after a class. And in this case, I do. So I want to introduce the world to one of what might be considered one of my favorite students. His name is Ola Amasan. Hola, how are things going today? How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Everything is going on well so far.
Excellent,
And
excellent.
yeah,
So he's visiting us, or he's here all the way from Canada. So I understand that you're a contractor, and I understand that you were really interested in having a podcast episode that talked about how Scrum Masters who are contractors, what type of path they go on as far as career path and learning path. Is that right?
yeah, that's absolutely correct.
Okay. So why don't you give us a little background quickly about so I'm going to do this a little differently today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up almost like a Q&A where I'm going to let you ask me a question, Ola, about what you'd like to know, and then I'm going to answer that question and we're going to see if we can nail 3 questions in 15 minutes or less. Sounds good?
Yeah, that sounds
Okay. So
great.
what's your first question? Go for it.
Okay, so my first question is, as a certified Scrum Master, how can one go into consulting for different organizations?
That's a good question. And, I love the way you worded it because having the Scrum certification, that's step one. Because if you have the certified Scrum Master certification, that's going to allow you to get in front of more people and it's going to give you the credibility that you need for people to listen when you do get in front of them. Now, the challenge is to become a consultant. What many Scrum Masters wind up doing is they join one of the larger consulting firms, maybe Deloitte or KPMG or one of the large firms. And what they do is they try to use those engagements to get in front of multiple customers. However, what I've discovered over time is that in many circumstances, when you get into some of those large companies, they pigeonhole you or attach you to one customer, and you spend the majority of your career working with that one customer. So it's almost as if you had a job working for that customer, but you were earning a contractor's pay instead, but without the benefits of that company. So I think the key here to transition from being a scrum master to being a consultant, the challenge is finding the right path or finding the right company that you can engage with. And my advice would be to find a smaller, more boutique company. So if you found a smaller consulting company that only had 8 to 10 coaches, it would be easier for you to go in as one of those 8 to 10 coaches and have an opportunity to be on a bench and do different things. But I do also have one more recommendation for you. One of the things that we've been doing here at Agile Dad is called micro coaching, where we put ourselves out there and we say, hey, if you want coaching on any Agile topic, you can pay a very small amount of money for a small amount of time and open up my calendar. So I use a tool like Calendly to schedule everything and have open slots. And then people can literally buy their way into those open slots for one on one coaching. And what that allows you to do, Ola, is it gives you the ability to go into those clients and to have them try before they spend a lot of money on you. So they can try before they buy and they can experience your coaching at a lower cost. And that will help you transition into the coaching field. But I do have one more piece of advice, and that is that you should immediately go for advanced level certifications because you need something that's going to separate you from everyone else. The world is right, full of coaches. You need something that's going to separate you. And I can tell you, based on the way that you performed in the advanced Scrum Master class, I think that you're well on your way to becoming a strong coach or trainer. What was your second
Thank
question?
you. Okay, so my second question will be that, okay, if I want to go into consulting, I know you've already mentioned the path that I need to follow if I want to achieve that. So the second question that I want to ask is, okay, so if I'm consulting for a particular company, what are the things I need to look out for?
When you say look out for, are you talking about within the engagement things that you need to look out for? Or are you talking about looking forward at your next engagement? What should you be looking for?
Yeah. So if I'm trying to kind of like onboard a client in terms of consulting in Scrum
Hmm.
Master,
Hmm.
so how do I kind of like engage them, or how do I kind of like set the ball rolling?
So one of the things to get the ball rolling, it's not easy. And I think the reason why it's not easy is because there's so many people out there who have the level 1 Scrum Master certification. So the first thing, as I mentioned, to prepare yourself is to have that advanced or even a certified Scrum professional certification that's going to allow you to separate yourself. That's step 1. What should you look out for with regard to clients? One of the things that I found is that it's a lot easier for you to find an individual who wants one-on-one coaching, who has some questions to help their team, than it is to engage a large company and just kind of weave your way into the company. So there are a couple of different places online where you can put yourself out to be available for coaching gigs. Now, without endorsing anyone, because I'm not allowed to do that, I'm going to use a third party example. So there's a website called Fiverr, Fiver, where independent people who have different talents or skills can put it out there. And maybe their skills are they can do podcast marketing or whatever the case may be. And what they do is they set up the ability for people to book engagements with you so that you can book those engagements one on one. And then once you book those one on one engagements, then they can try your services, see how they like them. And then you can ask for the opportunity to be introduced to the team within their company and say, hey, if you feel like I did a good job with these one on one services, is there an opportunity where I can come in and help your team really accelerate this? And then from there, they'll see that you do good work and good results, and then they'll ask you to come back and do more a greater part of the organization, basically.
Yeah, I think I like that part. It's like taking one step at a time, because it's for someone who is just going into consulting and you want to be in front of a large organization
Hmm.
without trying one on one with other people. It's gonna be like you're trying to put the horse before the cart. So
Right.
I think it's a good one.
Yeah. And one of the things that people commonly make mistakes with is they try to accelerate their path more quickly than they should. And what I mean by that is they're qualified and they can certainly do the job. It's just they're not in a position where they're ready to take on. People don't realize how difficult it is to be able to answer questions on the fly, to be able to know the answer and know the path that people have to do without going and researching, right? So sometimes it's hard for people to get their head around that. What I can tell you is that my advice there is to make sure you stay current with all the things that are going on, not just with the Scrum things. If you can answer brief questions about how does this compare to Safe? How does this compare to Lean Agile? What are some other techniques that I can use? I've tried this and it didn't work. So what can I do differently? Those are all things that you need to be prepared to answer. And I think that your continual education, trying to just keep on learning, being a sponge, that's going to be the greatest asset for you going forward as you try to coach inside of organizations. And I promised you 3 questions. You get one more. What's your third question? The genie in a lamp wants to
So
know.
okay, so my third question is gonna be that uh, do you recommend that someone who wants to go into consulting in Scrum Master, do you recommend them to have a mentor?
Absolutely. I think that it's a lot easier if you have a mentor. It's a lot easier for you to engage. It's a lot easier for you to build credibility. One of the biggest challenges I remember, and it took me a minute to rewind in my mind. I'm older, so I have to rewind like a VCR. I don't have the flash digital memory. But I remember when I first opened Agile Dad, there were some things I didn't know. So one of the things I didn't know was about all the things, the steps that I needed to do to set up my own business, the steps that I needed to do to get my limited liability corporation, the steps that I needed to do to register a name, to get a website, and then the big ones to find an accountant who could help me take care of all the things I needed to do, to find a tax advisor, to find to establish all my legal credentials and things that I needed, as well as the insurance piece. A lot of people don't take that into account. There are many clients that will require you to carry insurance just in case some incident would happen or breach of information, whatever the case may be. And some clients want 1 million to $3 million of insurance. That's not cheap. So one of the things that I had to get used to, and then I had to learn how to do accounts receivable, accounts payable, marketing. I mean, so there was just so many things that I wasn't ready for. And
Hmm.
I'll tell you right now, and this scared me, Ola. I probably went 40 to $50,000 in credit card debt just because I didn't know all those things that I had to do. And then when I finally realized, my one wish, if I could turn back time, was that I had a mentor to help me go through all this, or that I had an organization that was willing to let me jump on board and do some junior level training, or not coaching rather, some junior level coaching to help organizations underneath their umbrella, even at a lower rate than what I would normally charge. So basically, you would charge one rate, and a percentage of that will go to the organization, and then you would earn the rest. But then you would be covered under their insurance. You would be covered under their umbrella. So that way you wouldn't have all those worries and concerns. Now, what I can tell you is that there are not a lot of organizations that hire full time consultants to do this. Most of them want you to bring some business to the table. They want you to have your own business. They want you to bring some business to the table, and then they will provide you with opportunities as they come up. So it has to be a fair balance as well between the two. But what I can say with confidence is based on the level of agile knowledge, the level of scrum that you put out there, what I can tell you is that I can say with confidence that I feel like you would do an effective job inside of an organization helping them be successful. I think part of it is just that initial launch, the initial push, just getting off the ground and doing it. And anyone listening, I just want to let you know that I hear hundreds of people who ask me similar questions, but with Ola, you could feel this certain dedication and a certain appreciation for Agile and the level of humility. But I want to also point out the level of knowledge. He was in my advanced Scrum Master class, and he stood out like a shining star. And it was a breath of fresh air. So I thought I would take advantage of this opportunity to have him on. So first, Ola, I just want to say thank you for being an amazing student. Thanks for being awesome. And I want to encourage anyone out there that if you have a need and you're looking for a junior coach and you have an opportunity to bring someone in, either in Canada or the US, it doesn't matter. Let us know, and I'll extend Ola's information to you, and you can reach out to him. What I'm telling you is, not only is he a good person, but I think he'd be an amazing coach. So, Ola, do you have anything else you want to say about you, or about Agile Dad, or about your experience in the class before we go?
Okay, so on a closing note, I want to say Lee is a very great trainer. And one of the things that I learned from his class is how to collaborate with other participants in the class. And he wasn't doing all the talking, so he gave us the space to also express ourselves, and also he gave us opportunity to learn from each other, and also there were a lot of additional materials that he was also trying to make reference to while he was also rendering all the teaching to us. So for me, I would recommend that if you're thinking of taking any training in CSM, that's the Certified Scrum Master or Advanced Certified Scrum Master certification, or even the product owner, the fundamental or the advanced level, I think Lee would be a good person for you to contact for that kind of a training. Thank you.
Well, there you go. I'll give you your dollar later. No, I'm kidding. It's not a paid endorsement. That was just something that was really sweet that came from his heart. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, just like I appreciate this audience. So if you have a topic that you want us to discuss here on a daily stand up, feel free to reach out to us at learnmore@agiledad.com. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Do take care.